Episode 563. There are plenty of level 50 dungeons. After all, level 50 was the level cap in Glory for a solid 3 years, and hitting 50 wasn't exactly hard. So, after that, how do you keep players engaged? Naturally, they introduced a whole new layer of variety at the level 50 stage. You could say that with Glory, the real, more perfect fun only truly begins once you hit the level cap. Even as the level cap kept rising and new, higher-level dungeons emerged, there was no need to completely shut down those classic 50-level dungeons and adventure zones that held so many fond memories for countless players. And now that level 50 is no longer the cap, the options for both dungeons and open-world zones have expanded significantly. Naturally, this means there's a lot more territory for the major clearing guilds to fight over. The problem is, each guild only has a handful of characters that have managed to hit level 50. And at 50, you're not just looking at 5-man dungeons anymore. There are 10-man raids, 20-man raids, and the largest of them all, massive 50-man instances. However, with a shortage of characters, tackling dungeons for 10 or more players meant the various guilds had to band together and form teams. This left the major guilds facing a minor but persistent headache, one also stemming from the level gap. Since this level 50 dungeon was the original level cap, it didn't have a level range like the earlier ones. It was strictly for level 50 players. Sure, higher level players could enter, but the same old rule applied. Lower level players were locked out. And if a higher level team enters the dungeon, their results won't be counted on the record boards. This created a rather awkward situation. With a 50 level gap, no guild could possibly field a full 50-player team at level 50. But while they waited to assemble a team that large for the dungeon, if these elite frontline players kept leveling, they'd likely surpass level 50 by the time the main force caught up. That would lock them out of competing for the dungeon's speedrun records. And these characters were the elite of the elite within their guilds, so the major guilds were in a real bind, a serious dilemma. Should they keep pushing for leveling speed, or should they pause here at level 50, staying in sync with the main force's progress? The guilds were back at it, debating once more. And starting from level 50, this issue will keep cropping up again and again. At 50, 60, 65, anywhere there's been a level cap, you'll find a glut of these single-level locked dungeons. And from level 50 onward, those 5-man dungeons will start to fall out of favor. Whether it's to demonstrate strength or to pursue better gear and materials, the bigger the dungeon, the better. An elite team of 7 or 8 will only be able to throw their weight around in small dungeons from now on. That doesn't mean much anymore. And the more frustrating thing is, they can't even strut their stuff in those low-level dungeons. Isn't Lord Grimm's team still right here? But in a major dungeon, they believed Lord Grimm's competitive edge would likely be limited. The Happy Guild had grown entirely from the new server. Aside from their core 5-man team, the rest of the members they'd recruited were mostly newbies or outright noobs. How could they possibly compete with these major guilds and their battle-hardened veteran teams? How to proceed? The major guilds certainly weren't going to discuss that amongst themselves. They were each making their own calculations. And Lord Grimm, who had been drawing widespread attention lately, was apparently on the verge of breaking into the heavenly domain.
Is Lord Grimm about to arrive?
The major club guilds in the heavenly domain had been keeping a close eye on Lord Grimm for some time. His spectacularly disruptive performance in the heavenly domain challenge tasks had caused quite the stir. Having noted his actions, and more importantly, realized his true identity, none of the clubs viewed this character with anything less than full seriousness. For every Glory player, charging into the heavenly domain is a truly thrilling moment. In Chen Guo's mind, you'd have to pick an auspicious day, fast and bathe, and properly pay your respects to all the great gods in Glory before stepping into the heavenly domain. But for Yi Shu, he just finished the final step of the quest chain, showed not a hint of excitement, and simply stepped into the heavenly domain. Yi Shu could remain calm, but the world could not. Entering the heavenly domain is a major event, the kind the system itself will announce to the world. The 10th server will make an announcement, and the heavenly domain will issue one as well. This was the first time such an announcement had been made on the 10th server, and a second one was absolutely out of the question for the foreseeable future. But since the 10th server has so many new players, they might not fully grasp the concept of the heavenly domain until they face its brutal challenge quests themselves, so the shockwaves weren't that huge. To them, it was as if Lord Grimm had just pulled off another feat on par with setting a new dungeon record. But in the heavenly domain, the reaction was on a whole other level. The heavenly domain accepts characters from all 10 servers, so the announcement naturally specifies which server a character hails from. The words 10th server shone just as brightly as Lord Grimm in that instant. The veterans of the heavenly domain knew perfectly well what level players from the 10th server, open for barely over 2 months, would be at. For someone to enter the heavenly domain at this point was absolutely a record. Fortunately, Lord Grimm's reputation these past few days was already big enough. Many people had long been mentally prepared, so it wasn't too shocking. But there were always a few slower, less perceptive players. Seeing the announcement that a 10th server player had entered the heavenly domain, they went completely berserk. And the instant Yeshu stepped into the heavenly domain, he was bombarded by a flood of system messages. The passionate players of the heavenly domain had been waiting for this recent celebrity to arrive for days now. The moment the announcement went up, a flood of friend requests poured in. Some were curious, some were starstruck, others were looking to recruit him. The reasons were as varied as they come. Even someone as approachable as Yi Shu couldn't possibly handle all of that. Remember, the heavenly domain gathered players and their characters from all 9 previous servers, making its total population greater than any single server's capital. Lord Grimm's recent surge in popularity was once again common knowledge. The sheer number of friend requests he received in that single moment was undoubtedly a record. Replying to each and every one of those requests would be a job for a robot.